nutrition conversation. And we are going to be talking about our nutrition and our gut. Do you understand this? Your nutrition and your gut. How does the gut even work? Do you know? Do you understand it? That is why we have Reverend Prince Baidu. He is the head of Diet Therapy Unit at Tema General Hospital, governing board member at Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietitians. They have shortened it as GAN. Reverend, you are welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Hi. Thank you very much.
How are you?
Doing very well. Doing very well by grace. I believe you are also well.
Yes, by God's grace, we are well. But I have a major problem when it comes to the gut. I have a different understanding of the nutrition that I have to follow and how it to make my gut work properly for me. So please, can you explain that for us or to us?
Sure. So you know, so that we wouldn't have any confusion with the usage of the word gut.
Yes.
We just want to explain it. That is that stretch right from the mouth to your anus. That stretch of, yes. So from the throat coming down to your stomach, esophagus, your stomach, your small intestines, your large intestines. That is the gut.
Awesome.
Right? So it's so amazing. There are bacteria, small microorganisms that millions and millions or billions, if I may say, in the gut. And they play various roles. And we call some of them as beneficial. Some are also, they can cause a lot of havoc. But they live in a fine balance. They live in a very fine balance in the gut. So if nothing has happened to disturb their balance or disturb their relationship, you are fine.
Right.
Once something happens and the bad microorganisms begin to grow more than the good ones, there is an issue. So we realize that in the gut, it's about either you are taking food, you are taking a drink, or you are taking a medication, right? So these are the three key things that affect what happens to one's gut. And having said this, it means that all of us will have to come to the place that we have to protect the fine balance of these microorganisms in our gut, because they have been linked. If you have what you call dysbiosis or a lack of fine balance between the good and the bad microorganisms in our bodies or inside the gut, we realize that they have been linked to several diseases. So some type 2 diabetes, there's a strong evidence now linking type 2, some occurrences of type 2 diabetes to the problem with the gut.
Wow.
Also, some cancers and some sleep disorders, as well as some mental issues, mental health issues.
Wow.
And yes, all these, at first, they had been linked to external things.
Now, so the question that comes to my mind immediately is that how does one make sure that your gut, the interplay between the bad and good bacteria is not out of balance? How does one make sure?
Yes, so we have found that a lot of research has gone on, and we have found that the people who usually would take high-fat foods, deep fried foods, so like kelewele. You like soggy tobe, soggy kose.
Wow.
You like things that are very fatty. You like the fatty portions of meat as when you eat.
Domedo and turkey tail.
Turkey tail, yes. Yes. So if you would have to eat turkey, get the proper portion of turkey and eat, not the fatty part. Right. So those who take such foods have been found, these fatty foods in general, and sugar sweetened beverages or sugar itself. So when you take a lot of sugary foods, or you put a lot of sugar in your food, or you take a lot of foods that are sugar laden, we have found that they disturb the balance as well. in favor of the bad bacteria. So then they can cause issues. So if you realize there's actually a link between sugar sweetened beverages and the occurrences of diabetes if it happens for a long time.
Right.
At first, the understanding was because you are consuming sugar. But the later evidence is actually telling us that the key aspect also is that sugar disturbs the balance of the good and the bad microorganisms, which leads to the imbalance in your
good and bad
your hormones,
okay.
which can affect which can affect diabetes. Not only that, with other hormonal conditions as well.
Doctor, you mentioned sleep disorder affecting our gut. Is it that you bloat, or you have some sharp pains in your tummy, or there are gastrics that come out of your mouth? How can we know that this bloating or these gastrics that I'm passing has anything to do with sleep disorder?
Okay, so it's rather the other way around. It is the disturbances in the microorganisms in the gut that can result in sleep disorder.
Oh wow!
Right. So when you are not taking a lot of the antioxidants, you are not taking a lot of onions, you are not adding garlics to your food, you are not taking vegetables, you are not eating fermented milk like yogurt, you are not taking cereals and foods that have a lot of fiber, you are likely to be eating the other or the opposite. So if you eat opposite of having more onions, garlic, having vegetables of different colors, eating foods that have several components including fiber, and taking fermented foods like yogurt, you are likely to disturb your microorganisms in favor of the bad ones. And once they begin to grow, the bad ones are also in various categories. So depending upon the one you feed much, they will determine which kind of effect you will have. So the various symptoms. So you see that, like you talked about bloatedness. Bloatedness could also come, and a lot of problems with our gut in terms of inability to digest foods well, and also inability to get the waste out in an appropriate manner. They all have something to do with the mix, the balance. So once you disturb what we call the microbiota or the microbiome, that's the entire microorganisms that are in you. The bad ones also, they play a good role for you once they are in their correct proportion.
Okay.
But once you make them grow beyond what they are supposed to be, then they become poisonous to our bodies.
Okay. All right. So yeah, go ahead.
Doc, how do we keep our system balanced? How would we know the type of foods to be taking, though you've mentioned some of them, I know there are some that we should prioritize to keep healthy, to be able to keep our guts clean?
Sure. So this is what I would say. Whenever you pick your own money and you get out of your house to buy food, ensure that the food you are buying is not fatty, it's not oily, and ensure that if you are going to buy food actually that you are coming to cook at home, most of it should be vegetables with various antioxidants. Your ginger, your onions, your garlic must play key part of it. And buy fish, use more of the plant proteins like beans and the various kinds of beans, bambara beans, the cowpea, the white and the brown, and the various types of beans. Use them much because they have quite an amount of fiber as well. Let's decide to put the foods that contain more vegetables, that have carbohydrate, that contain a lot of fiber as part of what you put together to make our meal. If you are buying already prepared food outside, let's be watchful of our fat. Let's be watchful of our sugar. And if you have any means of choosing, choose more of vegetables, more of cereals that have not been sieved, that you still have the fiber inside, and that will be very helpful for your gut.
Let's ask about the place of beverages. So
Sure.
you made reference to you've been talking about the sugar and the sugar content in our diet and everything else. There's a lot of soda drinks that we drink that have high levels of sugar. What about drinks like the beers and those drinks in terms of their impact on the gut health?
Great. So when we are talking about the beers and the other drinks that have alcohol, you know that when you take the alcoholic beverages, the processes that go through in their digestion,
Yes.
they produce substances that feed on the bad part of the microbiome.
Okay.
So yes, so alcoholic beverages in general, if you consume alcohol in excess, and when dietitians are talking about alcohol in excess, WHO does not recommend people who don't drink or ready to drink. Okay. But those who would want to drink, there's what we call portions or quantities that have been found to be less risky to those who take it. Okay. So you can't just take any amount of alcoholic beverages that you desire, because when it goes beyond the drinks that are allowed for males, for instance, and the drinks that are allowed for females, for instance, that will become will shift the balance towards the bad ones, and you can have effect.
I see.
Reverend, medication and our gut, do some of the medications we take tend to affect our gut?
Yes, they do. So you realize that when someone is on routine medication or cocktail of medicines, it's important that that person is managed by his doctor and his dietitian at the same time, so that we can help the person to. There are some of the bacteria that will be affected no matter what because of the medication and the quantities we are taking. But then if we can tweak the person's food so that we can have commensurate amount of nutrient that will prop up the good bacteria, also to have a balance so that the person wouldn't have, or even if there will be an issue, to be mitigated.
All right. Fantastic.
Our blood group, I was going through some medication and it affected me because of my blood group, and it affected my gut badly. Does that also count?
As in the blood group and your gut?
Yes. Our blood group, the type of nutrition, and then the medications that we take. Do we have to check them?
All right. So there's very limited evidence regarding direct link between blood group and what you may have to eat or not eat, and or what medication you may have to take or not take. What we know, what the evidence is so abundant about, is that if you take any food that doesn't agree with your body, you seem to have some response to that food. We say that whenever you eat and you feel that the food does not agree with you, hold on that and take the other foods or other related foods to that. So it might not necessarily mean that it's because you are having a particular blood type or not. Right. Because there are people who say they have a particular blood type, they take a particular food that doesn't agree with them. But other people of the same blood type will take the same food and nothing will happen. So we don't have much evidence to stick our necks out to say if you are blood type O or A or B or AB, don't eat it or eat that. Right. But we say listen to your body. Listen to your body when you eat. It's very, very crucial.
Awesome. Reverend Doctor, we say a big thank you for joining us and giving us extensive knowledge about our nutrition and our gut health. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So grateful.
Take care, Reverend. Yeah. All right. So we've been speaking with Reverend Prince Baidu. He is a registered dietitian. He's the head of diet therapy unit at the Tema General Hospital, and he's also a governing board member with the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.